terminology and lingo. If you care to know all the fancy terminology and lingo, you can always, I don't know, ask me, write me and ask me, okay? And so what this does is it converts testosterone to estrogen. So there's some women who have a lot of testosterone, right? And so this aromatase inhibitor actually converts that testosterone into estrogen. So there's some women who don't have an aromatase inhibitor, and so then they're stuck in that testosterone phase. So we can see some women that have PCOS that are in that have that kind of condition. So number 2 is bee pollen. Also, if you have estrogen dominance, you can also take it as well. So bee pollen, number 1, if you have issues with testosterone. Number 2, even if you have estrogen, dominance, bee pollen is good for you as well. Let me choose another random one from my list. Fish oil, cod oil, fish oil, krill oil is great. That's something that works wonders for me and my hormonal health. Also, if you're having vaginal dryness, this is incredibly beneficial. If you're having vaginal dryness and you need to take pre-seed, etc., you're just masking an issue. I want to get you all away from masking issues with Mucinex and this and that, and actually realizing, okay, if I have vaginal dryness, this is something that needs to be corrected. I need to correct this vaginal dryness from within, not just mask it. Because if you have vaginal dryness and you just mask it, then when you get pregnant and that hormone that regulates vaginal dryness is still imbalanced, then you could have issues in your pregnancy, right? You need vaginal moisture at all times, okay? So if you have vaginal dryness up in the cervix especially, then that's an indication that you need hormonal balancing. And so fish oil is incredible. I take fish oil. I even give fish oil to my 16-month-old son, and it's incredible. I notice major differences when I don't take fish oil. So that's something that is worth trying as well, and something that I highly recommend. It's also a blood thinner. So also be careful if you have blood issues. You can always consult with your physician. You should always consult with your physician about any of this stuff. I've never seen any issues with anyone taking any of these, eating any of these foods. These are foods. So incorporate fish oil in your diet or eat fish, but don't eat too much fish because of the mercury. So if you're not eating the fish, then you can incorporate a good cod oil, fish oil, krill oil. Chaste berry is next. Vitex. Okay, this is so controversial. Controversial. Vitex is not for everyone. Everyone's like, oh, I saw that Vitex is great for, fertility. Yeah, it's great for fertility, but it's not great for everyone, okay? Yes, it helps with mood swings, irritability, tender breasts, crazy PMS symptoms. It boosts progesterone levels. I've seen wonders from Vitex, but it's not for everybody. Not everybody needs to take it. If your cycle is completely normal and you take the Vitex for no apparent reason and you don't even need to take it, then you could risk altering your cycle. So Vitex is really good for people that have wicked, out of control PMS, or women that have super irregular periods or no periods at all. I recommend you take it in tincture form. For more serious issues, you could do a combination of a tincture and a pill. But I don't recommend you just take a Vitex pill by itself. That tends to not do well. Okay, so Vitex is great. I've seen great results from it. I've never taken Vitex. For my particular issues and my particular hormonal balance, Vitex isn't a thing that I've had to take. I've never missed a period. I don't need to take Vitex. I've had to take some of these other things on here for hormonal issues, but I haven't missed periods for a significant amount of time. Okay, I've had some irregularities, but they haven't been to the point where they need Vitex. Maca. I love Maca Root. Maca Root is the jam, okay? Maca Root is one of the things that got me pregnant. Maca Root is amazing for me. Of course, you need to work with someone on the dosing for Maca Root, but this thing worked for me. My son is here because of Maca Root. I would just take the root powder. Of course, you need good organic quality Maca Root. Put that in my full fat yogurt, and eat that thing every day, and it was amazing. So of course, work on the dosing, because the dosing that I needed for my body is different from the dose that you need for your body. Okay, so everyone, like I keep stressing this entire thing, everyone's body's different. But I tell you, Maca Root is one of the herbs that helped me get my son. And so it's from Peru. That's why you need to be careful where you get it from. So it's a native of Peru. It helps with libido problems. I can attest to that. It helps with PMS, hot flashes. It's incredible. If you have PCOS, I would err on the side of caution. That's why some people mess themselves up, because they just take these supplements just off of reading what other people said. But you haven't worked with someone that has a background in this to really let you know whether you should take it or not. So PCOS people, err on the side of caution. If you have thyroid issues, err on the side of caution. If you have high blood pressure issues, err on the side of caution with Maca Root. I would definitely consult your physician before taking maca if you have PCOS, high blood pressure, thyroid issues. Okay, kale. Let me pick kale from my list. I think this is the last one that I'll cover. So kale has indoline 3-carbonyl. Indoline 3-carbonyl. And so this helps the body metabolize estrogens. So that's why it's important for you to find out what your hormonal balance is from. Where is it originating? Okay, so if you have estrogen issues, then of course I can point you towards the ones that are going to help you balance that estrogen. So kale, simple, just buying a bunch of kale. This one you can't go wrong with. This indoline 3-carbonyl is excellent for fibroids. Excellent for fibroids. It's also good for women that are going through menopause. So you can make that for whoever you know that's going through menopause as well. But that's more for sedating those menopausal symptoms, not necessarily for reversing menopause, which I've reversed menopause, so it definitely happens. It helps with any kind of, we don't talk about our breasts enough, okay? So fibrocytic breast tissue is an indication of a hormonal thing. And so kale helps with that as well. It's packed with calcium, lots of vitamins. For people with thyroid issues, though, I want you to cook your kale thoroughly, extra thoroughly, because there are certain enzymes in kale that hasn't been cooked thoroughly that actually inhibit the way the thyroid hormones are metabolized. So if you have thyroid issues, or if you don't even know if you have thyroid issues, make sure you cook your kale thoroughly. People notice amazing results. I've given you 6 foods. I chose spirulina, bee pollen, I chose fish oil, vitex, maca root, and kale. These are great go-tos for me whenever I'm working with someone. These are great. Some of them I've incorporated in my own fertility journey, and some of them are not right for me. And everyone needs some kind of customized game plan on what to do for their hormones. But at the center of it all, nutrition is king. I want to be here to support you on your fertility journey, on your journey to metabolizing your hormones, to whatever is, even discovering what issues you have. So make sure that you are being proactive about your health. Reach out to me on social media if you have questions. I can point you to resources. Talk to your physician. The problem that I'm seeing, though, is in the clinic, we just don't have time for patients, okay? We just don't have time for that one-on-one connection. Your doctor doesn't have time to sit there with you for an hour to 2 hours and say, hey, you need to do this. When I wanted my baby, I had nobody to sit there with me and try to figure out, like, okay, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I just get pregnant immediately? I want to get pregnant the first cycle, if not this cycle, I want to get pregnant the next cycle. And so I feel you. If you are feeling neglected, you're feeling ignored, you're feeling left out, you're feeling like the medical system has failed you, I get you. It's just the way that it's structured. It's terrible. And so I want you to just be proactive about your health. Notice yourself. If I just had a muffin and I feel like crap, then I'm writing it down, and I know that when it's time for me to start conceiving, I need to not have a muffin. When it's time for me to see if my hormones are balanced, I need to not have the muffin. And so I've done this incredibly long live today. And I appreciate the patience of those of you that are still tuning in. I want you to really take this seriously. Anyone that I work with who is trying to have a baby, there are two different paths. There's path number one, the woman who wants to have a baby yesterday. Then there's a woman who's having hormonal, they're skipping periods. Okay. Food. Before I give my powerhouse herbs, before I give my kick butt herbs, I go to diet. And that diet tells me what herb. That diet tells me what herb is going to get her pregnant. That diet tells me what herb is going to regulate her cycle. My premenopausal women, that's another section. But if you are young and you're just having just irregular cycles, or you're having regular cycles and you're struggling to conceive, diet. Point number one. Then we can follow it up with supplements at the end. All right, I hope you have enjoyed this. I love doing lives from my son's room. As I look around at the toys and everything, I'm reminded of why I do what I do, why I'm just passionate about helping women who are struggling to conceive, why it brings me to tears when I hear some of your stories. I'm here to help. I'm here to offer that guidance and support. I want to cry right now just because I just remember the pain, the feeling ignored, everything. And so I want you to know that I love each and every woman in this Facebook group. There are lots of you in here, but I'm that person that's not going to ignore you. I try to find time in my schedule for you. So I'm here for you. Take a deep breath. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Bye.